Jack stood by the viewport on Outpost Artemis. He watched the stars shift as the alien ship drifted closer. The station hummed around him with life support and soft alarms. He felt a rush of nerves in his chest. He had trained for first contact. But nothing prepared him for this moment. The vessel was smooth and pale, like polished stone in zero gravity. No markings or flags showed its origin. The crew surrounded the central hub watched in silence. Lily held a small audio recorder to capture every sound. Colonel Williams paced at the edge of the room, tension tight in her shoulders. On the main deck, the ship's bay doors opened. A single figure stepped out. She was tall, with slender limbs and smooth skin that glowed faintly under the station lights. Her eyes were large and soft, with pale blue irises that reminded Jack of clear water. Her hair flowed like liquid silver down her back. She moved with calm grace. Jack felt his breath catch. He swallowed and stepped forward. The alien raised a hand in a gesture that seemed peaceful. A small device on her wrist blinked. A gentle voice came through the translator speakers. Jack listened closely as words formed in familiar tones. "I come in peace," the voice said. "I am Kira of Alcestis." The room fell quiet. The colonel frowned. She motioned to security officers ready at the doors. Jack raised his hand slowly, signaling no threat. He stepped before Kira and offered a cautious bow. "I'm Jack Morris," he said. "Welcome to Earth Station Artemis." Kira inclined her head. She held a small sphere that pulsed with soft white light. Jack's heart pounded as he stared. The sphere seemed almost alive, as if it breathed. "This is my envoy," Kira said. "I seek a mate to bond our peoples." Jack blinked. He looked at the colonel. Play paused on her stern face. Lily gasped and lowered her recorder. All eyes turned back to Kira. Jack forced himself to speak. "A mate?" he said. His voice was quiet, full of disbelief. Kira nodded. "In my world, bonds bring strength. When two stand together, their worlds grow. I have traveled across galaxies to find one who will stand with me." The colonel spoke then, her tone cold. "This station does not serve as a dating service." "You will explain your purpose in full before we proceed." "Any threat will be met with force." Kira did not falter. She lifted the sphere. Its glow brightened in response to the colonel's words. The light spread through the bay and softened the edges of the metal walls. Jack watched in wonder as patterns swirled inside the sphere. Colors shifted slowly, from warm gold to gentle blue. He felt a warmth spread through him. Kira turned to him and extended the sphere. "Jack Morris," she said, her voice calm. "Will you help me learn of your world? Will you show me your customs?" Jack glanced at the colonel, then at the glowing sphere. He felt a pull stronger than curiosity. He wanted to know this being and her light. He nodded. "I will help," he said. Kira's smile was soft. She stepped forward and placed the sphere in Jack's hand. The light flowed into his palm like water. He closed his fingers around it and felt a gentle pulse. Lily pressed record again. Colonel Williams lowered her weapon but kept her eyes on Kira. The crew watched as Jack guided Kira deeper into the station. He led the way to the main corridor where panels of glass offered views of distant stars. Kira paused at each view. She raised her hand to touch the glass, though nothing was there. She tilted her head, fascinated by everything she saw. Jack described the station, its functions, the habitats where crew ate and slept. He spoke simply, using words Kira's translator could understand easily. She asked questions with soft tones. When a question arose too quickly, Jack slowed his speech. She listened closely. Her smile grew as she learned how humans lived. Jack took her to the small greenhouse dome. Sunlight filtered through to feed the plants. Vines climbed toward the ceiling, bursting with leaves. Kira knelt beside a bright orange flower and lifted it gently. She inhaled its scent and traced its petals with her fingers. Jack watched her reactions, noting how her eyes twinkled with delight. "In my world, flowers mark new beginnings," she said. "They bloom when a bond is formed." Jack thought of the sphere in his pocket and its glow. He realized this moment mattered more than any mission report. He told Kira the plant's name, and she repeated it carefully. As they moved on, Jack felt anticipation and fear. He did not know what lay ahead, but he knew this meeting would change his life. Behind him, the crew followed, curiosity and caution in their eyes. Kier walked beside Jack like a friend he had known for years. Her presence brought calm and wonder. The station's metal corridors felt less cold with her light among them, but when they reached the command center, Jack paused. The room was bright with screens and consoles. Colonel Williams stood by the main console, waiting. Jack took a breath and turned to Kira. This is where decisions are made. You may speak here before the command council. I will stand with you. Kira nodded. She reached for Jack's hand and squeezed gently. He felt the sphere pulse in his pocket. He squared his shoulders and walked forward. Whatever came next, he would face it by her side. The first contact had just begun, and their journey opened a world of possibilities. Lily led Kira and Jack into the central hall of Outpost Artemis. The walls glowed with soft light, reflecting off smooth floors. Several crew members gathered to show their skills and traditions. A small stage sat in one corner, ringed by seats. Instruments lay ready for a music performance. On a long table, earth delicacies waited: steamed rice, roasted vegetables, sweet fruits, and warm flatbread. Kira's eyes lit up as she took in the scene. She covered her mouth with one hand, and her translator whispered each word. This place feels alive, she said. She studied Jack with wonder. Your people celebrate with art and food. It feels like a festival, Jack smiled. He felt proud to share his culture. This is how we come together, he said. Music brings us joy, and food helps us bond. We want you to feel at home. Lily stepped forward. She had prepared a short introduction. Kira, this is a simple human custom. We will play music, then dance, and then share a meal. We hope you enjoy each part. Kira nodded. She adjusted the translator device on her collar. The white light on it pulsed as it converted her alien words into human language. First, a group of musicians started playing. A violin screeched softly at first, then found a gentle melody. A drummer tapped steady rhythms on a small drum. A flutist blew air into a slender pipe, weaving a soft tune. The sounds mixed in a warm wave that filled the hall. Jack watched Kira's face. Her eyes followed each note as if she could see the music floating in the air. After a few minutes, Lily waved her hand. She stepped onto the stage and began to dance. Her movements were smooth, simple steps that told a story of seasons changing. She lifted her arms like trees bending in the wind, then spread them wide like branches reaching for the sun. The dancers around her joined in unity, creating a circle of color and motion. Kira watched with rapt attention. When the dance ended, she took a step forward and placed a hand on her heart. She faced Jack and whispered, In my world, dance marks a union of spirits. Your dance spoke of friendship. I feel honored to see it. Jack felt warmth in his chest. He nodded. We try to share what matters to us. Thank you for coming. Next, the musicians played a lively tune. The dancers invited Kira to join. Jack offered his hand. She hesitated, then placed her hand in his. The music sped up. Jack guided Kira's steps. She imitated his motions, her body graceful and agile. The crew cheered. Kira laughed, a clear sound that echoed in the hall. When the music ended, everyone clapped. Kira bowed to the dancers, her translator repeating soft words of thanks. Then Lily gestured to the table of food. The dancers and musicians sat, inviting Kira to taste the dishes. Jack led Kira to the table. He offered her a piece of flatbread. She bit it and chewed slowly. Her eyes widened as new flavors reached her senses. She pointed to the rice and vegetables. Jack handed her a small bowl of steamed rice. She touched a grain with 2 fingers and let it slide into her mouth. She closed her eyes, smiling. It is soft and warm, she said. Food can bring comfort. Lily offered Kira some fruit. Bright red berries and yellow melon slices decorated a plate. Kira sampled the berries. Her eyes sparkled. She reached for the melon and held it to Jack's lips. He tasted it and nodded. Sweet and fresh, he said. Kier repeated the words. She held her hand over the food in a silent gesture of gratitude. Then she turned to the crew. Her translator blinked as she spoke slowly. In Alcestis, we share food at the start of every gathering. It shows trust. You have shown me trust today, and I thank you. Lily smiled. We are glad to share. We hope this helps you understand our ways. After the meal, Jack suggested a tour of the station gardens. Kira agreed. Lily joined them. Together they walked down a long corridor. The walls changed from metal panels to glass. Sunlight streamed through, falling on rows of green plants. Vines climbed the beams above. Kira reached out to touch a leaf. Jack explained how the greenhouse worked. He said the station collected sunlight and recycled water to help plants grow. Kira listened closely, nodding. She knelt beside a small tree that held round fruits. She plucked one and brought it to Jack. This tree reminds me of home, she said. He took a fruit and bit into it. The juice ran down his chin. He laughed and wiped it away. Kira laughed too, that bright sound. Then Kira spoke of Alcestis. She described rolling fields of crystal grass and lavender skies. She said her people built homes with living wood that glowed softly at night. She told of songs sung during the twilight when stars first showed. Jack listened, imagining the alien world. He saw Kira's memories like glowing pictures behind her eyes. He felt honored she shared her story. He paused under a vine-laced arch and said, "Thank you for trusting me with your memories. I want to know more of you and your world." Kira stood and looked at him. She held the glowing sphere in her hand again. When she spoke, her voice was quiet. "Jack Morris, will you be my guide on this journey? Will you teach me your ways as I teach you mine?" Jack felt his heart race. He nodded without thinking. "Yes, I will guide you." Kira's sphere brightened. The plants around them seemed to shiver with light. Lily and the other crew members paused, watching the glow spread through the greenhouse. Colonel Williams appeared at the entrance. She crossed her arms. She watched Kira and Jack under the arch. After a moment, she spoke through the station communicator. "Morris, return to command. You will report on progress and next steps." Jack turned to Kira. "They want me back, but I will return soon. You can explore the station with Lily." Kira's eyes shone. She placed the sphere in Jack's hand. "I will wait for you. Teach me well." Jack squeezed her hand. He bowed slightly and turned to follow Colonel Williams. He glanced back once. Kira stood alone in the greenhouse, bathed in light. She watched him go, hope and longing in her eyes. As the door closed behind Jack, Kira touched the sphere. Its light pulsed gently. She whispered to the empty garden, "This world is full of wonders. I will learn them all." Outside, Jack hurried back to the command center. He felt excitement and anxiety in equal parts. He knew the day's events would shape the path ahead. He climbed the steps to the main platform, ready to explain what he had seen and felt. Lily stayed with Kira. She showed her small art displays and the library module. They walked slowly, exploring human stories written in books. Kira traced words with her finger, learning shapes of letters. She looked at Lily and nodded. "I find your stories moving. They speak of bravery and love." Lily smiled. "I will help you read them. Together we can share many stories." Kira closed her eyes, imagining the future. She pictured herself walking on Earth with Jack, learning new songs and tasting new foods. She felt her heart fill with purpose. She had come to mate, but she had found a friend and a guide. As the outpost continued its quiet hum, Kira prepared for the days to come. She refused to let fear stand in her way. She would learn human ways and show Earth what Alcestis offered in return. Bonds were built on shared moments, and she had many more ahead. Kira stood at the edge of the command lounge, her translator device casting a soft glow on her silver cheek. She watched Colonel Williams and several officers gather around a holographic display. Jack approached quietly, placing a hand on her arm. His voice was gentle. "They are speaking of you," he said. "There are doubts about your purpose." Kira turned her pale blue eyes toward the officers. She saw lines of worry on their faces, shields raised against the unknown. She drew in a steady breath and let it out slowly. I understand their fear, she whispered. But I have shown no threat, Jack nodded. He brought Kira toward the group. Lily followed with a notepad in hand. Inside the lounge, the officers paused their conversation. Colonel Williams folded her arms. She addressed Kira with a firm voice. Explain why your bond must be with one of our people. How do we know this? Is not a ploy? Kira stepped forward, holding the glowing sphere in both hands. She spoke with calm conviction. In Alcestis, bonds are sacred. We choose a mate to share life and purpose. This bond creates a deeper link than any alliance. It ties two worlds. With trust, I came not to trick, but to unite. The sphere pulsed gently, and patterns of light washed over the seal of the lounge. The officers exchanged uncertain glances. Colonel Williams' jaw tightened. She tapped a finger on the holodisplay, showing images of Alcestis' world. Crystal fields rolled beneath lavender skies. Homes of living wood glowed like stars at night. We have seen your home, the colonel said. But what if your bond weakens? Can we trust that you will honor ours? Kira met the colonel's gaze. She replied quietly, My bonds do not weaken. If I choose a mate, we become one purpose. We build forever. She paused. Tears of determination glimmered in her eyes. I offer this bond as proof. I will undergo your customs of trust. I will show you my loyalty. The room fell silent. Jack stepped beside Kira. He spoke for her. She agreed to join me on a trust trial. We will go to the forest reserve. She will be unarmed, alone with me. If she betrays us, I will hold her accountable. But if she proves herself, Earth and Alcestis will bond in peace. Colonel Williams studied Jack. She could see his resolve. At last she nodded. Very well, you leave at dawn. Security will follow at a safe distance. Any sign of danger, and the mission ends. Are you ready, Morris? Jack squared his shoulders. I am ready, Colonel. Kira is ready. Kira inclined her head. The sphere in. Her hands glowed brighter under her steady grip. As preparations began, Jack walked Kira to a private cabin near the station's edge. Inside, a single room held simple furniture, a bed, a table, and a window looking out to the stars. Kira set the sphere on the table. She turned to Jack, her voice soft. Thank you for defending me. I feel the weight of their doubt in your heart. Jack reached for her hand. He saw the pulse of light beneath her skin as her warmth reached him. I believe in what you offer, he said. I want to understand more of your bond. Tomorrow we will face the forest and each other. I will trust you, and you will trust me. Kira nodded and smiled. She touched the sphere gently. Patterns of calm blue light drifted across the walls. She felt peace in Jack's presence. She stood in the cabin, bathed in the sphere's glow, and prepared for the trial ahead, the next. Morning, the sky over the station shimmered with pale sunlight. Jack and Kira boarded a small transport craft piloted by two security officers. Lily watched from the landing bay. She attached a small camera to Jack's shoulder to record the journey. As the craft lifted, Kira reached out and pressed a hand. To the hull, gazing at Earth's blue curve below dot, when they landed in the forest reserve, Jack and Kira climbed out. The air smelled of pine and damp earth. Towering trees formed a living cathedral above them. Sunlight filtered through the leaves in golden beams. A light wind rustled the branches. Jack met with the security team. Colonel Williams' voice came. Through his communicator, Morris, we are in position. We will monitor from the ridge. Remember your orders? Jack nodded, then turned to Kira. He took her hand. We should start our trial. We have 1 hour alone, then we return. Kira inhaled the forest air deeply. Vines climbed the trunks around her. Moss cushioned the ground beneath. She looked at Jack's face. Determination shone in his eyes. Let us begin, she said. They walked along a narrow path. Jack pointed out markers. Bright flowers, a stream of clear water, mossy stones. Kira knelt by the stream and touched the water. She scooped some into her hands and let it pass through her fingers. She looked up at Jack. Water gives life, she said. In my world, we share water as a bond. It proves trust, Jack smiled. He urged her to taste the water. She cupped it to her lips. The water was fresh and cool. She repeated the words, fresh and pure. She closed her eyes. Feeling the earth's life in every drop, they continued deeper into the forest where light dimmed beneath thick canopy. Leaves crunched under their boots. Kira's senses sharpened. She felt the pulse of the forest as if it spoke. She paused at a fallen log. She examined the rough bark and the mushrooms growing at its base. Jack explained the forest's ecosystem. How fungi broke down the wood to feed new plants, how insects lived beneath the bark. Kira listened, her translator converting every word. She marveled at the simple balance of life. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered overhead. A rumble of thunder rolled through the trees. Jack looked up. We should find shelter, he said. Kira nodded, and led the way to a shallow cave hidden behind vines. They ducked inside as rain began to fall in heavy sheets. Water dripped from the cave roof, pooling at their feet. The wind howled outside. Jack checked his communicator. Security, we are safe. The storm hit sooner than expected. Kira looked at Jack, concern in her eyes. Storm does not scare me, she said, but I worry for you. Before Jack could reply, a large branch snapped above the cave entrance and fell toward them. Jack lunged forward to push Kira aside. The branch caught him on the shoulder and pinned him to the cave wall. Pain shot through Jack's arm. Kira screamed and rushed forward. She laid a hand on Jack's back. Her skin glowed with pale blue light. She closed her eyes and concentrated. Jack felt warmth flood his body, easing the pain. With one powerful movement, Kira lifted the branch off Jack. The heavy wood slid across the cave floor. Jack slumped forward, wincing but breathing steadily. Kira knelt beside him, her light dimming to a soft glow. Jack touched Kira's hand. He saw worry in her eyes. I am okay, he said, though his voice was strained. Lily's voice crackled through the communicator. Jack's status? Jack coughed. He looked at Kira. I have a hurt arm. But I am alive because of Kira. She saved me. We need to return. Kira gently supported Jack's weight as they stood. She wrapped an arm around his waist. Jack leaned on her strength. Together they walked from the cave into the storm. Security officers emerged at the cave mouth. One knelt beside Jack and offered a field bandage. Kira watched, her translator repeating anxious words. Colonel Williams' voice came through. Morris, what happened? Jack held Kira's hand and looked at the colonel. Kira saved me. She risked herself to help me. Her bond is true. Colonel Williams was silent. She exhaled slowly. The storm raged around them, but under the fallen branch and the wet leaves, a silent promise formed. As the transport craft lifted them from the forest, Kira held Jack's hand. The sphere on her belt pulsed softly. Jack closed his eyes and felt gratitude flood his heart. Doubt had met hope in the forest, and hope had won. Their bond had been tested and proven. Above the clouds, Kira touched Jack's cheek. He opened his eyes and smiled at her. In that moment, both knew the path forward. Part 3 of their story ended not with fear, but with trust stronger than any weapon. Jack and Kira returned to Station Artemis as the sunset painted the sky outside in shades of red and orange. The transport craft touched down smoothly. Jack supported Kira's injured arm while security officers guided them to the medical bay. Colonel Williams watched, her expression unreadable. In the medical bay, Nurse Carter examined Jack's shoulder. Kira stood close, her translator blinking softly. Carter cleaned the wound and wrapped it with a sterile bandage. Jack winced at the sting but nodded. The nurse said, You will rest for a day. No heavy work? Jack glanced at Kira. She nodded and stepped back, giving him space. Carter smiled kindly at Kira. I have heard much about you. Such power you have. Kira inclined her head. Her voice was quiet. I only use it to help. Carter offered Kira a seat. Please rest too. The station is new to you, but you need strength for your journey. Kira sat on the edge of a bed and placed the glowing sphere on a small table nearby. She looked at Jack and said, My energy feels low. The bond trial leached my strength. I need rest. Jack managed a small smile. We both do. Get some sleep. Later, Jack lay in his cabin. The pain in his shoulder pulsed like a reminder of the forest. He looked at the window, where distant stars glimmered. He thought of Kira and the trust they had built. He drifted into restless sleep. Kira found her cabin quiet and empty. She placed the sphere on the table and closed her eyes. Memories of the forest and Jack's pain filled her mind. She focused on her bond energy, drawing from the sphere. Patterns of blue light swirled around her until sleep carried her away. The next morning, Lily knocked on Kira's door and entered with a tray of fresh fruit and tea. Kira sat up, blinking. Lily set the tray beside her. "The ceremony will begin soon," Lily said. "I brought food to help you regain strength." Kira smiled. She picked up a piece of melon and tasted it. Then she gestured to Lily. Her translator whispered, "Thank you for caring. I feel gratitude." Lily nodded. "After you rest, I will show you the ceremony hall. We will prepare together." Kira lay back and ate slowly until the fruit and tea renewed her energy. She rose and followed Lily down the corridor. The ceremony hall was a large dome with glass walls. Sunlight streamed in, illuminating a circular stage of smooth white stone. Seats rose like steps around the stage, ready for guests. Lily led Kira onto the stage. She pointed out symbols engraved in the stone, 2 interlocking circles, lines, that formed stars and flowing patterns of water. "These shapes represent unity," Lily said. "We use them in our traditions to show a bond." Kira studied the symbols and repeated their meanings. Then she stepped to a bench and sat. Lily placed a simple white robe on her lap. "This robe is your ceremonial attire," Lily said. "It has no metal or weapons. It symbolizes trust and peace." Kira nodded and changed into the robe. Its fabric was soft and light. She felt calm as she smoothed the folds. Lily helped adjust the robe and placed a silver band on Kira's wrist. "This band marks the start of the ceremony. When you join hands with Jack, the bond will form." On the opposite side of the dome, Jack arrived with Colonel Williams and crew. He moved slowly, still favoring his shoulder. Colonel Williams watched Kira with a mix of curiosity and respect. Jack greeted Kira at the edge of the stage. He offered his hand. She took it. His translator repeated their greeting. "We are ready," he said. Kira squeezed his hand. "I trust you," she said. As they stepped onto the stage, the glowing sphere floated beside them. Kira had placed it on a small pedestal before leaving her cabin. It pulsed in rhythm with their heartbeats. A soft chime sounded through the dome speakers. Lily stood by a console, activating the ceremony program. The air filled with gentle music, a melody of strings and light percussion. Jack and Kira moved to the center of the stage, standing on the interlocking circles. Colonel Williams and crew watched from the seats. The colony's civil leaders sat in the front row, their faces solemn. Lily spoke through a microphone. "Today, we witness the union of 2 beings from different worlds. They stand together to build a bond that will unite Earth and Alcestis." Jack and Kira looked at each other. Their eyes held words without speech. Jack took a small vial of water from the pedestal and poured it into Kira's hand. She let it flow between her fingers. Lily explained, "In human tradition, sharing water symbolizes life and trust. Now, pour it into each other's hands." Kira and Jack lifted their hands, letting the water stream into each other's palms. The water glowed with blue light as it touched skin. The sphere brightened. When the water flowed out, Lily stepped forward with 2 rings made of living wood from Alcestis. She handed one to Jack and one to Kira. "The rings fit loosely," Lily said. "Place the rings on each other's fingers. This completes the bond." Jack slid Kira's ring onto her finger. She looked surprised as the ring responded, glowing softly and shrinking to fit her finger perfectly. Kira placed the ring on Jack's finger. It glowed and rested snugly. The sphere at the pedestal glowed white and lifted into the air. Patterns of light spun around Jack and Kira. The dome lights dimmed, and stars appeared on the glass walls. Lily's voice echoed, "The bond is sealed. May their union bring peace and unity." Kira felt warmth flood her body. She pressed her free hand to her chest, where the ring rested. Jack placed his hand on top. Their rings glowed, and the sphere released a wave of light that filled the dome. Colonel Williams rose from her seat. She approached the stage slowly. Doubt had vanished from her eyes. She stopped before Jack and Kier, though she spoke quietly, but the microphone carried her words. Kira of Alcestis and Jack of Earth, your bond shows courage and hope. Earth welcomes your union. Kira and Jack bowed their heads. The crew stood and cheered softly. Music swelled as Jack led Kira off the stage. Outside the dome, the sun set fully and stars gleamed in the sky. Jack and Kira walked hand in hand under the station lights. Their rings glowed faintly. Jack said, "Thank you for trusting me. You honored my world." Kira smiled. "And you honored mine. Together we build a future." After the ceremony, Jack and Kira found themselves alone in the station's evening glow. The dome windows framed Earth's blue planet. Kira's ring glowed softly against her skin. Jack winced as he adjusted his arm. They walked side by side toward the observation deck. On the way, Lily met them. She held a datapad. "The Council invites you for a few days of talks," she said. "Leaders from Earth and Alcestis wish to discuss the alliance." Kira looked at Jack. Her eyes showed excitement and calm. "I am ready," she said. "But first, I wish to know more of you." Jack smiled. He led her through the station corridors. They passed crew quarters and training rooms. He spoke simply of his life on Earth, growing up near forests, his family's traditions of music, and his love for exploring the stars. Kier listened intently. She touched his sleeve softly. "Your stories bring me joy," she said. "In Alcestis, we share stories like yours under twilight skies." They reached the observation deck, a circular room with floor-to-ceiling windows. Stars shimmered around Earth in the planet's shadow. Jack guided Kira to a bench. They sat facing the view. Jack pointed to the glowing horizon. "That distant star is Alcestis's sun. We charted it during your approach." Kira gazed at the star. She held the sphere in her lap. "It looks smaller from here," she said. "Yet it means home. I miss my world." Jack reached for her hand. They sat quietly as the station rotated, bringing new constellations into view. The silence spoke of comfort and companionship. After a moment, Kira spoke. "Jack, what do humans do when they miss home?" Jack thought. He searched for simple words. "We gather memories," he said. "We share music, we write letters, we carry tokens. Each helps us feel close." Kira nodded. She placed her hand on the sphere. It glowed softly. "I will carry this token now. It will remind me of you and this bond." She closed her eyes. Jack felt warmth in his chest. He knew their bond ran deeper than ceremony. He met Kira's gaze. "I have a token for you too." He unzipped a small bag and pulled out a silver locket. Inside was a tiny leaf from the station's greenhouse. Kier, single quotes, S eyes widened. She took the locket and opened it. The leaf sat perfectly preserved. Tears glimmered in her eyes. "Jack?" she whispered. "This is precious." Jack placed the locket around Kira's neck. The chain rested lightly against her throat. "May it remind you of Earth's life?" he said. Kier reached up and touched the locket. She leaned forward and kissed Jack's cheek. His heart leaped. After a moment, Lily's voice came through Kira's translator. "Council in session. They await you both." Kira and Jack stood and left the deck. They walked into the council chamber together. Inside, seats curved around a holotable. Human leaders sat on one side, clad in formal uniforms. Alcestis representatives stood on the other, wearing robes of living wood. A silent tension filled the room. The human president spoke first. "We welcome our guests from Alcestis. May our talks bring peace." An Alcestis elder, tall with glowing crown-like horns, replied, "We come to share knowledge and life. May our worlds grow together." Jack and Kira exchanged glances. Kira held the sphere as she stepped forward. She spoke with calm strength. "I ask for friendship between our peoples. Let Earth learn from Alcestis's harmony and Alcestis learn from Earth's resilience. Together we flourish." Her words echoed in the chamber. Human leaders nodded. The president rose and extended a hand to Kira. She accepted it. The Alcestis elder turned and bowed. Talks continued into the night. Jack and Kira stayed close. They shared simple insights, human farming methods, Alcestis living architecture, ways to share water and song. By morning, agreements were drafted. Earth would supply technology to help Alcestis' energy needs. Alcestis would share methods to heal forests and grow living homes. The alliance promise was signed under glowing signatures. After the signing, the chamber emptied. Jack and Kira stepped outside. They walked to the station gardens. Flowers bloomed under bright lights. Jack knelt to pick a small white blossom. He held it out to Kira. "For you," he said. Kira smiled and took the flower. She wove it into her silver hair. She touched Jack's hand and said, "Each flower marks a new beginning. Today our future blooms." They strolled through the gardens until the station's night cycle began. Stars shone overhead. Jack sat on a bench. Kira joined him. She rested against him. He wrapped an arm around her. They watched stars drift by as the station spun. Kira spoke softly. "Jack, will you go with me to Alcestis?" Jack looked at Earth's curve beyond the windows. He felt hope and longing. He thought of his home and the new bond he shared. He met Kira's eyes and nodded. "I will go." Kira's ring glowed as she slipped her hand into Jack's. He felt the pulse of their bond. The sphere on the nearby pedestal shone bright. They leaned their foreheads together. In simple words, Kira said, "Together we build forever." Jack whispered, "Together." And under the silent watch of distant stars, their bond held strong, promising a new chapter where two worlds would stand as one. Jack and Kira arrived on the docking bay of the Alcestis vessel as it prepared to depart Earth orbit. The ship's hull shimmered like living silver under the station lights. Crew members from both worlds gathered to bid farewell. Jack helped Kira down the ramp, steadying her arm. She smiled warmly. Colonel Williams approached with a small gift, a music box that played a human lullaby. She handed it to Kira. "For your journey," she said, "to remember Earth." Kira accepted the box with both hands. Tears glimmered in her pale blue eyes. She pressed a finger to the winding key and let the melody play softly. Jack placed a hand on her shoulder. "Thank you," Kira whispered. "I will treasure it." The human president stepped forward and shook Jack's hand. "You have honored us, Morris." "Safe travels to you both," Jack nodded. "Thank you, sir." As the crew exchanged farewells, Lily handed Kira a book of human stories. Kira's translator blinked as she said, "Your stories will guide me. I look forward to telling theirs on Alcestis." Lily waved and joined other Earth crew returning to the station. Jack and Kira watched the docking clamps release. The vessel's engines hummed to life. The living silver hull glowed brighter. Kira turned to Jack. "Shall we go home?" Jack smiled and offered his arm. Kira linked hers with his. Together, they ascended the ramp into the ship's foyer. Kira held the sphere close to her heart. Jack stood by her side. Inside, the bridge crew from Alcestis greeted them. Consoles of living wood glowed beneath their hands. The pilot bowed. "Welcome, chosen mates. We await your command." Jack and Kira moved to the center of the bridge. Kira lifted the sphere, raising its glow to full brightness. Patterns of light danced across the walls like constellations. Jack spoke clearly. "Set course for Alcestis." The pilot entered commands. On glowing displays, the ship groaned as thrusters engaged. Alcestis's sun grew larger on the VIEWSCREEN. As the ship jumped into hyperspace, Jack and Kira stood side by side. They held hands and watched the stars stretch into lines of light. Kira spoke softly. "Our bond carries two worlds. I feel its strength." Jack nodded, "and it will grow stronger as we learn together." The glow of the sphere filled the room. Kira leaned against Jack's arm rail. He wrapped an arm around her. They journeyed through the void, leaving Earth behind. Homesick moments found comfort in each other's presence. They shared simple words and laughter. After days in hyperspace, the ship emerged near Alcestis. Jack looked out at a world of lavender skies and crystal fields. Glowing homes rose on living trees in the distance. Kiera gasped with joy. She touched Jack's hand. We are home. Jack smiled as they docked at the Alcestis orbital station. Scientists and leaders from Alcestis awaited them. The Alcestis elder greeted them. Welcome home, Kira and Jack. Your bond lights our world. Kira and Jack stepped onto the platform hand in hand. The crowd cheered. Kira raised her free hand, and the sphere glowed brightly, sending waves of light across the station. Jack followed her gaze. He saw children of both worlds holding hands, eyes wide with wonder. Kiera turned to him. See our future, Morris? Jack nodded. I see it, together. They walked forward into the welcoming circle. Kira lifted Jack's hand and placed it over her heart. He did the same. Their rings glowed. The elder spoke. Today we see the power of unity. May your bond guide our peoples to peace and growth. Kira and Jack bowed. The crowd echoed their bow. Then music filled the air, an Alcestis melody mixed with the human lullaby from the music box. Kira wound the box and held it aloft. The melody joined the Alcestis music. Harmonies of two worlds soared under lavender skies and human moons. As they stood together, the sphere and the music box, their tokens of home, glowed in unison. Jack and Kira looked at each other and smiled. In their simple words, Kira said, "This is where our forever begins." Jack replied, "Here and always." And under the twin moons of Alcestis, two hearts from different worlds beat as one, bound through pleasure and purpose to shape a shared destiny.